Well, let's start with our virtual Lincoln Memorial and swing down to our spot that we've been using here just behind the Washington Monument. And yes, if you are just waking up, as Andrew says, I'm not sure I could convey the full drama, but let me do it through the chronology, because watching the clock is quite a useful way of working out exactly how Mr. Trump took the path to the White House. So 9 o'clock p.m., these are Eastern Standard Times in the USA. We saw a bunch of states come in for Hillary Clinton that were Democrat before. No surprises there, nor indeed in the Republican states that came in for Trump: Kansas, Alabama, Tennessee, and so on. But the atmosphere, as we've been discussing, was very much that Hillary Clinton was on target for the White House. The polls looked good for her. The atmosphere around the end point of her campaign also looked good. And that was the temperature of our discussions and our outlook until this happened. I'll put these against the monument, those electoral college votes, and watch the next time change. Let's get the time exactly right on this. 10:23. Okay, so New Mexico, Connecticut come in for the Democrats. Fairly routine. But Ohio comes in for the Republicans with 18 electoral college votes. The other ones have been won by the losing Republican candidate last time, Mitt Romney, so they weren't anything to write home about. But Ohio was. Ohio was a sign that Trump was doing better than the guy who lost for the Republicans 4 years ago. And that suddenly made us think, oh my goodness, maybe if the motivations for the voters in Ohio work across other states, he could be on for a huge shock here. Let's take those electoral college votes and let's put them there beside the Washington Monument. And you see here Trump then pulls ahead for the first time. But there's still quite a lot of petrol in the Clinton tank, because if you go to 11:30, you'll see she takes California with 55 electoral college votes. She also keeps Virginia, which was nip and tuck for some of the night. Looking on the Republican side, Florida is Donald Trump's response. A massive win for him with 29 electoral college votes. And despite all the talk that Florida's minorities would get together and stop Trump winning there, he didn't. He took the state. It was very, very close. But at this point, he starts to look like he is within range of the White House. 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, so it's 3:30 in the morning UK time, 222 electoral college votes. The line at the top of the monument is 270. That's the finishing line. Let's watch what happened next. So 248 in the USA. Some main districts come in, obvious ones for the Democrats, and then another great surprise. Signs that the Trump strategy is working across states. Older, white, male voters in particular being super motivated by Trump's campaign. Pennsylvania goes red. And watch the columns as the numbers go up. And now he is within touching distance of the White House. The whole conversation changed. Hillary Clinton is somewhere backstairs at her own, what was to have been a victory rally, and everyone is waiting to hear from Trump and waiting to see what happens next. What happened next was at 3:04, and it's Wisconsin, with a rather modest 10 electoral college votes. But here we go. Let's see the Trump numbers go through the line. 275. And at that point, in fact, it was whispered in his ear as he was on stage making his speech. At that point, Donald Trump knew he was president, and Wisconsin was last with the Republicans in the 80s. I'll clear these down for you. One more site we should see before we leave our virtual area. Come with me, and we will just bring you to our White House here. And despite all expectations, it will be Donald Trump and the Republican Party's fireworks that are over the White House later. He's won the 2016 U.S. presidential election, one of the most extraordinary elections any of us have ever seen. And he's won it by painting the map in a way that's as dramatic as what happened for the Republicans in their heydays in the 80s.